Hi everyone, welcome to the Maruti classes. Myself Himanshu Kashyap. Today we are starting our exercise portion of the last class, chapter 3, Understanding Quadrilaterals of class 8 Mathematics. So let's start the exercise portion. Here the question number 1 is here given a parallelogram ABCD. Complete each statement along with the definition or property used. Here in the in such question we have to give answer as well as we have to define which property is used for giving this the answer. So on the blank page I would try to explain you what the question number 1 wants from our side. Here the question 1, the given figure here is a figure of parallelogram having the notation A B C D, and also they were given the diagonals A to C and B to D with the centroid of O. Now here the question number 1 is AD equals to which line? Here by observing we can simply give the answer that AD is equals to BC because it is a parallelogram, and the property of parallelogram says the two sides are parallel and opposite sides are equal of the parallelogram. So here we can simply explain this, but we need to write here the property that as per the property of property of parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. If opposite sides are equal, then AD, its opposite is BC, hence AD is equals to BC. Now this is your question number 1. Now question number 2, here they were asked angle DCB is equals to what? Angle DCB. Here this one is angle is equals to which term? Here also we are using the property of parallelogram that the opposite angles are equal. Opposite angles are equal. This is one of the property of parallelogram, and according to this property, this is the notation of parallelogram. I am not writing the whole terminology like parallelogram. In short form we can write like this. This is the short form of parallelogram. So here opposite angles are equal, so the opposite of DCB is BAD or DAB. Here this one. So angle DCB is equals to angle DAB. This is the answer of your question number 2. Now by observing the question number 3, what they asked in the question number 3, which term is equal to OC? Now again we are using the property of parallelogram that in parallelogram, firstly I am explaining you the opposite sides are equal, secondary I am explaining you opposite angles are equal, and third the parallelogram, the bisectors are also equal. This one is the bisector, it divide the whole figure into two equal parts. This one is the bisector, so bisector, parallelogram bisector are also equal, so OC is equals to OA, hence our OC is equals to OA because as per the property of parallelogram, bisectors are equal. Now question number 4, what does it say? M angle ADAB plus M angle CDA is equals to how much? DAB and CDA. Here this one is equals to 180 degree. Here this one is equals to 180 degree because adjacent angle are equal to 180 degree. This one are the adjacent angle, so their sum will be equals to 180 degree. I am giving a brief summary of the question number 1. Here many hotspots were seen by you. Let us explaining by me once more. Here question number 1. In the question, in the first part AD, here the figure ABCD, here AD is equals to BC. Why AD is equals to BC? What I am giving the clarification, the property of parallelogram. Here the first clarification is opposite sides are equal. These are the opposite sides are equal. Secondly, they were asked DCB is equals to what? So here we are giving the answer DAB. Why? Because opposite angles are equal. Now third one, here the question is OC. Which term is equals to OC? Here we are giving the property that bisectors are also equal. Therefore OC is equals to OA. This is O. Now fourth one, here we are given the question MDAB plus NMCDA is equals to how much angle? So here the answer is 180 degree. Why this is equals to 180 degree? Because adjacent sum of adjacent angle is equals to 180 degree. Sum of adjacent angle is equals to 180 degree. These all are the properties of parallelogram. You have to remember this while using to solve the question. While solving the question, you have must to remember this property, a basic property of the parallelogram. Now moving forward to question number 2. What does the question number 2 says here? Here consider the following parallelogram. Consider the following parallelogram. Find the values of unknowns x, y and z. Here question number 2, they were asking the value of x, y and z. So we have to solve it. Here let us using a blank paper to solve question number 2. Here in the question number 2, they were asking the values of unknowns. Here the question number 1 here is figure like this. Here A, B, C and D. Here angle B is equals to 100 degree. Angle A, D, C. Here X. Here this one is the angle X, angle Y and angle Z. Here as per the property we used in the earlier question, opposite angles are equal. And according to this theorem, angle Y will be equals to 100 degree. Is I right? Now the second property which we used in the previous question, that the sum of adjacent angles are equal to 180 degree. Therefore angle Y plus angle Z is equals to 180 degree and angle Z is equals to 180 minus 100. That's why angle Z is equals to 80 degree. Here we can also do that angle X plus angle 100 plus 100 is equals to 180 and angle X is equals to 80 degree, or by using opposite angles are equal, we can also directly put up the value angle x is equals to 80 degree. So this is your question number 1. Now moving forward to your question number 2. What does the question number 2 says? Here the figure is like this. This one is 50 degree. This one is your angle y, angle x, and angle z1. So here we have to calculate the value of x, y, and z. Now let us use some notation A, B, C, D. If angle A is equals to 50 degree, that means here this one, by the property of opposite angles are equal of the parallelogram, this one is also equal to 50 degree. And if this one is equals to 50 degree, then what is the value of z? If this one is equal to 50 degree, then what will be the value of angle z? Here we are using the corresponding angles are equal. Sorry, here we are using linear pair. Sorry, here the adjacent angle are supplementary. Adjacent, here the property used is adjacent angles are supplementary. The property used here is the adjacent angles are supplementary. So here 50 plus angle z is equals to 180 degree. So angle z will be equals to 130 degree. Now further moving to the calculation of angle y. For the calculation of angle y, here we know that there are many formula, like if we are able to calculate angle x, like in case here the sum of adjacent angles are equal, so the sum of adjacent angle equal to 180 degree, so 50 plus x is equal to 180 degree. So here x is equals to 130 degree, and angle x is equals to angle y, because opposite angles are also equal, so y angle y equal to 130 degree. There were many ways to calculate the angle y. So this is our answer for the question number 2. Now moving forward to the question number 3. What does the question number 3 says here? The figure given in the question number 3 is like this. This is your given figure. Here this one is the angle x, this was in angle y, and here this one is the angle 30 degree. This is equals to 90 degree, and here this one is angle z. This is given. So firstly use notation for better clarification. Use ABCD in cyclic order. Name the center as O. Now here we have to calculate x, y, and z as per the given question. So here if this one is 90 degree, then opposite angles are equal, so this one is vertically opposite. Here angle x is equals to 90 degree. Why? Because here this is vertically, write the property vertically opposite angle property were used here. That's why angle x is equals to 90 degree, not because it is shown it will seems you like 90 degree. No, because vertical angles are vertically opposite angles are equal. That's why here if 90 degree, then that why angle x will be equal to 90 degree. Now the sum of, here we are using the property of like the sum of angles of a triangle will be equal to 180 degree. That's why angle y plus angle x plus 30 is equals to 180 degree. That's why angle Y will be equals to 180 minus 30 minus 90, and here the value will be 60 degree. This is the another way to solve the value, to get the value of angle Y. Here what we are using, the property of triangle. Property of triangle, sum of all sides equal to 180 degree. Now moving forward for the calculation of angle Z. What will be the value of angle Z? Angle Z is either equal to angle Y. If yes, then which property use here? What will the property will be used here? Angle Y will be equal to angle Z, because alternate angles are also equal. Alternate angle are also equal. Alternate angle are also equal. Alternate angle. This is alternate. This is opposite. Here this is alternate. This is opposite. You have to better clarification which is vertically opposite and which is alternate angle. This is only possible by more and more practice. So you need to practice a lot, then it is easy for you to differentiate different properties of the figure. Now the question number 4 says here, this is your figure. Here this one is equals to 80 degree. Here this is angle Z, this one is angle X, and this was in angle Y. Now what will be the value of angle Z? Is angle Z is equals to 80 degree. Firstly use notation ABCD. So angle Z is equals to 80 degree. Why? If yes, then why angle Z is equals to 80 degree? Which property is used here? Here the property used here is corresponding angle. Corresponding angle property is used here. Now if this one is 80 degree, then this one is, if it is equal to 80 degree, then is this one is 100 degree. Here which property is used? If this one is equals to 100 degree, then which property is used is I am already taught in the previous question. Tell me which property is used here. Which property is used here? I think again corresponding angle property is used, or linear pair property is used. Angle Z is equals to 80 degree, then angle D will be equals to 180 minus 80. So it will be equal to 100 degree. Yes, we get the answer, but which property is used here? Here the property used is linear pair property. Linear pair property. You have to write down this property. So if this one is equal to 100 degree, then by the property of opposite angles are equal in parallelogram, angle X is equal to 100 degree and angle Y will be equal to 80 degree. So X 100, Z 80, Y 80. This will be your answer. Now moving forward, so question number 5 will be your homework. Solve it. Now going to the question number 3, can quadrilateral ABCD be a parallelogram? Moving to the question to your book. Here, can a quadrilateral ABCD be a parallelogram if angle D plus angle B is equal to 180 degree, angle AB equal to DC is equal to 8 and AD equal to 4 and BC is equal to 4.4, angle A and angle C is unequal. Look to the and observe the question. If AB is equal to AD DC, is 8 centimeter, but AD and BC are different, 4 and 4.4, angles are also unequal, then we can simply say that this is not a parallelogram. This will not following the property of parallelogram. Now moving for question number 4, draw a figure of a quadrilateral that is not a parallelogram but has exactly two opposite angles of equal measure. So imagine which type of figure will be obtained by drawing using the such terms given in the question number 4. Are we are making the diagram of parallelogram, quadrilateral, or which type of figure will be made. Here this looks like this. What is the question of to figure a quadrilateral, not a parallelogram? It should be quadrilateral but not a parallelogram. So here, to be the parallelogram, the sides will be equal and angle will be equal, opposite angle will be equal, then it will become parallelogram. But when the ABCD, firstly use notation ABCD, here AB and DC, AB and DC are 8 centimeter, but here 4.4 centimeter AD, sorry BC, this one is 4.0 and this one is 4.4 centimeter. So opposite sides are not equal, so it is not a parallelogram, and angles are also not equal. Here the angle given here is 70 and 65. This is 70 degree and this is 65 degree. So this is also not equal, hence it is not a parallelogram. Now moving forward to the question number 5. The measure of two adjacent angle of the parallelogram are in the ratio 3:2. Find the measure of each angle of the parallelogram. This is the simple question. Here look at what they were using here, two adjacent angle. What does the adjacent angle mean? What does the adjacent angle mean? Look at here. Adjacent angle simply means angle this and this, not this and this, either this or either this, because the sum of adjacent angle are equal to 180 degrees. So 3x plus 2x is equals to 180 degree. 5x is equals to 180 degree. So x will be equal to 180 divided by 5. 36 degree. Yes, I am right. 5 3 ja 15, 3 0 30, 5 6 ja 30. So 36, x will be equal to 36 degree. Now 3x will be equal to 36 cross 3 and 2x will be equals to 36 cross 2, 72, and this one is equals to 108. Is it as simple as possible? Now moving to the forward, next question. Question number 6. Two adjacent angle of parallelogram have equal measures. Find the measure of each angle of the parallelogram. This is simple question. This will be your homework. I am giving you the hint for the question number 6. Let here what they do, adjacent angle of the parallelogram have equal measure. I am explain you the earlier question which is called as the adjacent angle. Angle this, angle this. If both are equal, assume this one angle is angle x, this one angle is angle x. So x plus x is equal to 180 degree, then 2x is equal to 180 degree. So therefore x will be equals to 90 degree. So the measure of each angle of the parallelogram will be equal to 90 degree and it will become like a square. Now moving to the question number 7. The adjacent figure O is a parallelogram. Find the angle, measure x, y, z. State a property you use to find them. HOPE. Here we have to measure the angle x, y, z. X, y, and z. Here, if this one is 70 degree, then by the linear pair, this one is equal to 110 degree. If this one is 110, then angle x, opposite angle are equals. Therefore, angle x will be equal to 110 degree. If this one is equal to 110 degree, Now alternate angles are also equal. So here if this one is 40 degree, then angle y will be equal to 40 degree. Now we have to calculate the angle z. Here 40 plus z plus 110 is equals to 180 degree. Here I am using the blank paper to explain again. Here the given figure of question number 7 is look like this. If this one is equal to 70 degree and this one is 40 degree and here angle z, so 40 plus z plus 70, so the sum of adjacent angle will be equals to the sum of adjacent angle will be equals to 180 degree. This is equals to 110 degree. So angle z will be equals to 180 minus 110 minus 40. So angle z will be equals to 180 minus 150. Angle z will be equals to 30 degree. It is as simple to calculate the value of angle z. This one will be equals to opposite angles are equal, so it is equals to 110 degree. Now angle y, there are many ways to calculate angle y. 110 plus, here the simple way to calculate y is alternate angles are equal, so angle y will be equals to 40 degree. It is as simple. Now moving forward to the next question. So question number 8. What the question number 8 here? The following figures, guns and run are parallelogram. Find the value of x and y. This is the simple. Here we are using the property that bisectors are equal. Therefore, 16 equal to x plus y and y plus y equal to 20. Here we can one equation one unknown. We are able to solve get the value of y. Put the value of y here and get the value of x. This is also using here also using the opposite sides are equal, so 26 equal to 3y minus 1 and 3x equal to 18. So here it is very easy to get the answer. Now moving forward to the question number 9. What does the, here we have to calculate the value of x. Now here we have to use two properties. Look at here, if this one is 120 degree, therefore this one is also equal to 120 degree. If this one is all equal to 120 degree, then this one equal to 60 degree, and angle r equal to 60 degree, therefore angle s will be equal to also 60 degree. Similarly here you can also able to calculate all the data. This one is 70 degree, then this one is 110 degree, this one is 70 degree. If this one is 60, this one is 70, 60, 70, then sum of triangle 60 plus 70 plus x equal to 180 degree. So here we can able to get the answer 60 plus 70 using the blank paper. Here if we are able to calculate these two data, then angle x will be simple, easier to calculate. If this one is equals to 70, this one equal to 60, then 60 plus 70 plus x is equal to 180 degree. Angle x is equal to 180 minus 130 degree. So this is equals to 50 degree. It is as simple. Now going to the next question. What does the next question says? Question number 10. Explain how this is figure is a trapezium, which two sides are parallel. Here the two sides parallel are KL and MN. Here AB and DC, two sides are parallel. So here now going to the next question. Here the property of transversal is used. Transversal property is used here, and we can simply give the answer. Now the next question, find the M angle C in the figure here, in this figure. Find angle C. We have to calculate angle C. So what will be the value of angle C? Is angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degree or not here? If AB is parallel to CD, then we can say that angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degree. Then it is easier to calculate angle C. Now in the next question, or the last question of this series, find the measure of angle P and angle S if SP is parallel to RQ in the figure 3.28. And here we have to calculate angle R and angle P. Here angle, because these are parallel, then angle P plus angle Q is equal to 180 degree, then angle P will be equal to 50 degree. Is I am right? If angle P is equals to 50 degree, then what will be the value of angle S? Angle S plus angle P is equal to 180 degree. So it is easier to calculate here. Now moving forward to the next exercise. Here they were given the example of kite and rhombus. They were either equal or not equal. Here you have to need to simple read what just the examples they were used to explain you. I am going to the exercise portion of this to explain of this chapter last exercise here, exercise 3.4. Now the question number 1 is state whether true or false. Now the question number 1 says here, state whether true or false. The first question is, all rectangles are square? Is all rectangles are square? So firstly we have to know the property of rectangle and property of square. Yes, all the sides of rectangle, angles of rectangle are 90 degree. All the angles of square is also 90 degree. This property match in both. But here all the sides are not equal. Here all the sides are equal. Here two sides are equal. That's why all rectangles are not square. But yes, all squares are rectangle. Its reversal is true, but all rectangles are not square. Now going to the next question, all rhombus are parallelogram. Is all rhombus are parallelogram? What will be the property of parallelogram? As I am explained you in the first question here, opposite angles are equal, opposite sides are equal, and bisector are equal, and which one the property I use in the first question? Let us see the previous slide to remember. Going to the question number 1. here sum of adjacent angle equal to 180 degree. This is the fourth property of parallelogram. So we need to remember, we need to compare sum of adjacent angles to 180 degree. So we need to compare the property of rhombus with the property of parallelogram. So parallelogram, here the all the rhombus are parallelogram. All the rhombus are parallelogram, but all the parallelogram are not rhombus, because in the kite we seen that here the sides are not equal, here the angles are also not equal, but this is the rhombus, but this is not a parallelogram. So here the question number 2, all rhombus are not parallelogram. Now question number 3, what does it say? All square are rhombus and also rectangles. All square are rhombus and also rectangle. All square are rhombus and also rectangle. Yes, all square are rectangles and all square are rhombus also. But all rhombus are not square and all rectangles are also not square. In their reversal is not true, but yes, all squares are rhombus and rectangle. This term is true. Now moving to the forward question number D, all squares are not parallelogram. All squares are not parallelogram. Let us see. Assume this is your square. Here the opposite angles are equal, opposite sides are equal, and bisector are also equal. Bisector are also equal, and further, what is the property? Sum of adjacent angle are also equal, 90, 90, sum of 90 plus 90, 180 degree. So all squares are parallelogram. This is true, but according to question, the statement false. The question they were asked here is all squares are not parallelogram? No, all squares are parallelogram. Is all kites are rhombus or not? Is all kites are rhombus? Is all kites are rhombus? This is the figure of kite, and this is the figure of rhombus. Here angle are different. Here bisector are also different, but here all are same. That's why it is called rhombus. But kite is not a rhombus. Therefore, here we can say in question number E, false. Question number F. What does the question number F says? All rhombus are kite. All rhombus are kite. Yes, all rhombus are kite, but all kites are not rhombus. Question number G. All parallelograms are trapezium. Is all parallelogram are trapezium? Yes, all parallelograms are trapezium, because the property of trapezium is nothing but the two sides are parallel, and there were four you need to four sides and two sides are parallel in the trapezium. So all parallelograms are trapezium. All squares are trapezium. Yes, all squares are trapezium. So this is your question number 1. Now moving forward to the question number 2. What does the question number 2 says here? Identify all the quadrilaterals that have four sides of equal length and four right angles. Four sides of equal length, it is, I think, square and rhombus. And four right angles, what will be the four right angles? Four right angle is square and rectangle. Now question number 3, explain how a square is quadrilateral, parallelogram, rhombus and rectangle. This question is very unique type of question which clarify your all concept. So let's moving forward to the question number 3. Square. Why a square be a quadrilateral? Why a square be a parallelogram? Why a square be a rhombus? And why a square be a rectangle? So quadrilateral, as we know that the property of quadrilateral, it has four sides. Quad, it has four sides. So square have four sides. That's why square is quadrilateral. Parallelogram, opposite angles are equal, opposite sides are equal. So here all the property lies in the square. So it is also a parallelogram. Square is also a parallelogram. Now in case of rhombus, here also the bisectors are equal, angles are equal. So all the rhombus are square. These properties also lies here. In case of rectangle, two opposite sides are equal. Yes. Angles are equal. Yes. So this properties also lies in the property of a square. So square is a quadrilateral, parallelogram, rhombus and rectangle. So now moving forward to the question number 4. Name the quadrilateral whose diagonals are bisect each other, are perpendicular bisector of each other and are equal. Name the quadrilateral whose bisect each other. Which quadrilateral bisect each other? Here basically they were try to ask which bisector divides equally the figure in two parts. Now here rhombus, square, rectangle, parallelogram all comes here. Are perpendicular bisector to each other. Which one is the perpendicular bisector to each other? Now perpendicular bisector is not made in the rectangle. It is made only in rhombus and square perpendicular bisector, because here two sides are not equal to each other, but in case of rhombus and square all sides are equal, diagonal equal. Again question number 2 and question number 3, both the answer is square and rhombus. Now moving forward to the question number 5, why a rectangle is a convex quadrilateral? Here because in rectangle there are two diagonals, both the diagonal lie interior in the rectangle, therefore a rectangle is a convex quadrilateral. Both the diagonals lie interior to the rectangle, that's why it is convex. Now moving forward to question number 6, ABC is a right angle triangle and O is the midpoint of the side opposite to the right angle. Explain why O is equidistant from A, B and C. The dotted line are drawn additionally to help you. Now here we have to calculate why O is equidistant from A. Here OA diagonal bisect each other. So OA equal to OC equal to OB equal to OD. Here the property uses diagonal bisect each other. Okay guys, this is the today's class. Now here in your book some properties are given of the parallelogram. Look at here the summary of your chapter. Opposite sides are equal, angle equal, diagonal bisect one another. In case of rhombus, all properties of parallelogram, all three properties lies here, and further the diagonal are perpendicular to each other. In the case of rectangle, all the properties of parallelogram, each of the angle is a right angle, diagonals are equal. A square, all the properties of parallelogram, rhombus and rectangle. In case of kite, the diagonal are perpendicular to one another. One of the diagonal bisect each other. in the figure angle M equal to angle D, but angle A doesn't equal to angle C. The quadrilateral which exactly two pair of equal consecutive sides. Kite is explained as the quadrilateral with exactly two pair of the equal consecutive sides. So you need to revise these in your home, then you will become expert in such questions. So today's class ended here, and now further class we will start a next chapter. So bye.